I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So, the purpose of this interview is to expose the community to what it looks like behind the scenes about the actual hard work that goes into a stage or TV or film production. So, we're here to learn about your process and your journey, and I'm excited to learn about you today.
Ooh, wow. I'm not sure, really. I mean, it's been an interesting and cool journey that I've been on as an actor. I do have more experience with film and television. I would say those are my strengths. Being on stage is a completely different animal. I tip my hats to all the many deaf actors and performers that do stage plays, but I love it. The process is different. You're live, you're performing live, and you have to keep that energy the entire way through. You're giving so much of yourself to the audience. So versus television and film, where you have intermittent breaks where you're able to gather yourself and then go at it again with stage, you have to keep going. Someday I would love to be in a Broadway play, whether a musical or, I don't know. It can happen.
Put it out there and the universe may respond.
Exactly. Send it out to the universe, and you ask, you shall receive. So we'll see what happens.
That's right. I'm always interested to know how that creative seed was first planted for you, and what was your first taste of creativity?
I think it probably started when I was really young. I remember my mom telling me that I started dressing myself at 3 years of age. She just would let me go off and pick what I wanted to wear. So maybe that's where the fashion in me kicked in pretty early. But she always encouraged me to be my own person and be very independent. So I was able to dress myself without any rules or labels. It was completely up to me. So I had that freedom to express myself in that regard. The other creative influence in my life was my older sister. We both are very creative storytellers, and we're serious about it. We would always try and outdo each other. We would improv and crack up all the time. We didn't watch much TV at the time. We more so read books and just did our own creative storytelling. But I think those two aspects really carried me through my life, school, as well as through my fashion career and my acting today.
So you said that by the age of 3, you were already into fashion and you liked dressing up. Did you read any fashion magazines or have any fashion icons that you looked up to growing up?
At that time, no. I didn't actually discover fashion and design until much, much later in my life. And it's so ironic how I even got into that so much later, because when I was younger, I just wore whatever I wanted. I went through so many phases of fashion and styles from different time periods. When I was in middle school, I was wearing clothes from the 50s.
That's cool.
I have no clue why.
Yeah.
Freshman year in college, I went through this gothic period. It was like a gothic with a twist of modern style. Yeah, I went through a lot of different phases of fashion. I didn't follow trends. I just
I think that's cool.
Did my own thing, I guess. Yeah.
I think that sometimes people don't realize that fashion parallels your mindset, your emotions at that time. It's an expression of what resonates with you, what you connect with. And of course, your identity changes over time.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Fashion does not have rules. I mean, I know that people impose rules, but it's really just a representation of who you are. I mean, what you want to do, you wake up and however you're feeling that day, you express it. It's a way to express your feelings and your body. I mean, some people want to show their body, some people don't, and it's completely okay. And it's really nice to have that freedom for me growing up to wear whatever I wanted.
So that leads me to my next question. How did you get into fashion design? That was later for you, right?
Oh, yes. Much, much later. I went to see Cal State University, Northridge, studied in psychology. Do not ask me why.
Well, I think that there's an element of psychology in fashion design if you look closely enough. I think it's a fact.
Well, I think it's because my sister went to college first. She went to a really prestigious college. She studied psychology, and I looked up to her as my older sister and thought I wanted to be just like her, major in psychology, go to college. And really, my college experience in general was fantastic. But 2 years in, I started to really feel like, is this really what I want to do with my life? And doubting what my future actually looked like. So I decided to leave college. 3.5 years in, I made that decision. It was really terrifying to tell that to my mom, but I made the decision to leave, just again trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. So yeah, I left college, worked at different places, retail jobs, office jobs, just trying to really figure out what I was going to do in my life. And I landed a job at a bridal shop, and that experience was so different than working in retail. This was a more intimate setting where you're one-on-one with clients. There were so many different designers showcased, and I remember just being enthralled with it. But that wasn't my entry into fashion, I'll say. It wasn't until I got a job at a design house where they focused specifically on designing. There were two women from South America who opened this business. It was a high-end upscale wedding boutique shop, and I was completely drawn to it. I loved it, seeing the process of sewing and everything that goes into actually designing. And I was even able to assist with some sewing. So once I saw that process, I said, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I decided to apply to various fashion industry jobs. I found one place I interviewed. It was at BCBG. And I distinctly remember it was a huge office, walking up to the office, feeling so excited. I interviewed with this extremely tall man. We completed our interview, and he said, "You are extremely motivated. I can see that. I can see your passion, but you just don't have the experience and you don't have a fashion degree." So he recommended that I go to fashion school. And I thought, okay. And that's what I did. I went to FITM, a Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. And let me tell you, that just opened my entire world up to fashion. And I graduated top of my class.
Congratulations.
And I got my job at BCBG. Came full circle. Yeah, I worked there as a product developer. And then I worked at different companies throughout the years. The last job I settled at was as a children's designer for a manufacturing company in Los Angeles. I started as an assistant designer and then made my way up to designer. And that was it. Got laid off, unfortunately. The fashion industry crashed. So, yep, that was my journey.
So I wonder, are you still making clothes on your own once in a while?
No. I've switched gears to acting.
I'm just asking because it's one of those skills that can be useful. Like if you need a Halloween party costume, you can just whip something up. No worries. I was just wondering.
No. Yeah, no, I've completely transitioned. I mean, but my love for fashion, that will be in my heart forever. It's a part of who I am. My other career that's in my life now, acting, I mean, I've just jumped on that bus
Opportunity.
and taking the ride to see where it goes. I absolutely have a passion for it and love it.
And I think that your love for fashion is just another piece in your toolkit that will make you better prepared for your next role, right?
Exactly.
Through clothing, you can embody a character's attitude or express different feelings.
Right. That's so true.
So you started with fashion design, and how did that lead to acting?
Well,
what brought about that transition?
100% was not planned, girl. Not at all.
That's life.
So I was working as a fashion designer full-time, 50 hours a week. And the director at Deaf West Theater, DJ Kurz, just kept nagging me, wanting me to be a part of their production. And I was like, no, I don't have any idea what this is all about. Finally, I decided, look, I'll audition for one of your productions. Really, the goal was to just get him to leave me alone. But got the script, had no idea what to even do with it, how to prepare. At that particular time, my ex-boyfriend, he was an actor. So he told me, look, Natasha, you need to highlight your character. We'll go over lines. And I was not confident whatsoever. It was a new animal for me. I remember going to the audition and telling the director, I am so sorry. I've never done this before. They reassured me that it would be fine, but it was the worst audition ever. I was completely mortified. But I left and I felt good because I had completed it and I felt like perfect. This is over with. They ended up contacting me a few days later, asking if I'd be available for actual production. And I was completely shocked. And I thought to myself, look, I'll ask my boss first, because I knew that my boss would say no. To my surprise, my boss was completely on board, ready to fix my schedule to make sure everything worked out. So I let Deaf West Theater know, look, I am available. I didn't actually end up getting the part, but I was thrilled. But you know what? They were not done with me. They actually pulled me on for another production. So it was a smaller project I did with Wayne Bett and DJ Kurz. It was a small monologue piece called The Hearing Boyfriend. And the piece was about a hearing boyfriend. I was a deaf woman portraying the hearing boyfriend. And when I tell you, it was such a powerful monologue. I mean, at some point during that process, I just felt just a real connection to the character and what I was portraying. And it was so weird. I don't know how to explain it. I've never felt it before. I mean, I was nervous, absolutely. But at the end, I felt, wow, this is incredibly amazing. The character, the development, the story itself, I loved it. I loved it. And I thought, oh my God, what is happening to me?
Hey, when opportunity presents itself, you go through the open door and see where it leads. So you said that how did it feel? Let me start over. So DJ Kurz saw the potential in you and approached you, but you didn't see yourself as an actor and didn't think you could do it, but you went for it anyway. How did it feel to have someone believe in you like that?
I feel, and still do feel, extremely honored and grateful because, I mean, you don't even think that people see you. They really see you. Outsiders are looking in and seeing your potential. It's amazing because all of us have true potential within us. And it's just so nice to have someone else able to draw that out of you. And you're able to grow just like a beautiful flower, and then another flower blooms and you're growing even more. So I'm just really grateful for people like DJ Kurz and others who have truly believed in my potential and helped elevate me through my process. Yeah.
It's nice to always have cheerleaders. People who are there for you no matter what, because sometimes we doubt ourselves. Are we on the right path? Are we in the wrong field? Because we all are our own worst critics.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned the 7-Eleven promotion and other opportunities that have come up. How did you hear about Mather?
So Chase, this is his sign name. We met because Sean Forbes, he had a live performance in LA. I think it was, 2014? So several years ago, but I was finally able to catch him live. So I was standing in line for the restroom. It was a unisex restroom. And I was wearing suspenders. I was wearing suspenders, and Chase just was standing behind me, and he got my attention and said, "Hey, I love your suspenders." And we just started talking. He let me know he was a writer and a director, and we just became fast friends. We worked on a few projects together, and then he gave me the script for The Mother, and when I read it, I was like, "Oh my God," I was blown away. He asked me, "Hey, would you like to be a part of it?" I said, sure. So he offered me a role, and it was definitely one of my first challenging roles, just really portraying everything that the character had, being the star elder. I mean, it was a beautiful, beautiful process. And Chase is an amazing director. He has this ability to really draw out your emotions and challenge yourself, which he challenged me quite a bit. So that experience was really great.
Thank you for sharing that about your process with Mather. I think it sounds amazing, tough, but amazing, and very creative.
Yes. Yes, definitely. I mean, hats off to Chase and really everyone that worked on the project.
Yes. Next question. What is your dream role on stage, TV, or film?
Well, I don't want to say dream role. I want to say I want to do everything. I want to do it all.
Yes, get it.
And, why not? I think As actors nowadays, we are definitely made to do multiple things. Back in the day, people picked a lane and they stayed in it, whether it was stage or television, but a lot of actors have evolved to do multiple things. For example, Ben Platt from The Politician. I mean, he started off in Broadway, was in Dear Evan, he's on television, he's a singer, so I want to do it all. I want to be a part of all platforms.
Well, I look forward to seeing more of your work in the future. I read an article, and I have to say, you have given many great interviews with several outlets. It said that you were able to effectively leverage your experience and success to produce and direct and act in this new play that you wrote. You wrote it, right?
Yes, I did. I wrote a piece called The Reflection.
Reflection. Well, the full title is Reflection, What Do You See? It's a monologue play that features different amazing Black deaf narratives. And you hired the deaf talent to participate and to share their reflections on their identity, their struggles, and their quest for acceptance. How did that idea come together? Tell us about the process.
Well, the whole thing first started with Michael Spady in 2017. 2017. He came up with the idea to showcase Black deaf talent for Black History Month. So we did a photo shoot and it went viral. And really, we just wanted to show some representation of ourselves, Black deaf talent, because we are oppressed within our own community, and really to put on display that we have talent and we are here. So we thought, why don't we do something annually and just change it up? So in 2018, we got together again. We tried to figure out what we would do. We thought maybe we could do a play, a monologue. And yeah, we ran with that idea. That was more of an active process. The first year was an opportunity to show who we all were, but the second year, really, we were putting ourselves to work. So for the monologue, we came up with the questions. We sent them to all of our actors. We received their responses, and then we decided to configure it more to be more of a narrative where they're talking to a mirror, to the audience, and additionally to themselves. So there were 3 different perspectives. And we really wanted this to be an opportunity for them to share their stories as Black deaf individuals, their joys, their experiences with oppression and racism, their journey of acceptance. And it's really important to understand that the Black deaf experience is not a monolith. There are so many varying experiences and backgrounds and journeys, family dynamics. Those experiences range in so many different ways. And then to add on to that, there's just so much talent as well. And that's really one of the reasons that we came together to do this, was because, again, we have to put ourselves out there and increase visibility within our community and to the world.
Yes, I think it's frustrating for any minority group to not have their story well represented and to have an outsider write the story for them.
Exactly.
It's like, no, it's our story. Let us write it. We also see stories written with a very limited role. Like, for example, there might be one Asian role that pits all of the Asian actors against each other to compete for that one role. And it's like, no. So I think your show is wonderful, and I hope to see it one day.
Yeah.
Has it been published?
Yeah, it was released publicly. And, well, fingers crossed, hopefully once COVID is done someday, and then schedule permitting, of course, I can host it again. I really would love to pull in some other deaf Black talent from the East Coast and really all over the U.S. and do it again. I loved it. I loved it. I would love to bring it back. I mean, just the real rawness and the in-depth feelings and emotions that were portrayed really resonated with the audience.
Yeah, I just saw the other day, and this is a bit of a tangent, but Wawa's World, the music video.
Oh my,
it was
girl,
so good,
I love
uplifting, and
it.
so good.
Just loved it.
I hope to see more of that.
Finally, yes, finally. It was so nice to see that.
So, before you created Reflections, had you worked with Black deaf actors before?
Yes.
Which production?
Before The Reflection, I worked with Michael Spady. We worked on a small commercial together, and that was a really great experience. I mean, the 2 of us just being Black and deaf, being on set together. It was such a nice support to have each other. We were able to run lines and, just figure out what we were going to do. So that was really nice. I also worked with Harold Fox and Alexandria Wells in the play Our Town. And I mean, both of them are such amazing talents, especially Alexandria. I mean, with her wealth of experience, actually seeing her in person and watching her perform and being able to learn from her was awesome. I've also worked with Trishelle. We didn't work directly together. We were working on the model. We weren't in the same scene, but we were on the same set. And really, that's about it. Yeah, we need more.
But we need more. And you've been fortunate enough to work with other people, but no, not enough with Black deaf actors.
Oh, yes.
I hope to see more. Well, playwrights, if you're watching, we need more plays for these folks.
Exactly.
I am often frustrated by the lack of representation in the media. To take my identity, for example, as an Asian deaf woman with many layers, often I don't see stories about my identity represented anywhere on stage or network TV.
Right. They're just not there.
They're rare. And especially in theater, film, and leadership, deaf Asians are not represented. I wonder if it's the same for you in the Black deaf community?
No. We still need to work on that because there really isn't enough. I mean, there are a few out there, but the visibility is lacking. There's a lot of colorism within our community, so it's hard enough in general, the world at large as a non-signing community, where we have to face colorism. Especially for myself, being a darker-skinned deaf woman, I mean, wow, you really don't see enough of that. The positive side, though, you do see a few actors like Angela Bassett, Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer. There's a new British actress named Jodie Smith. And I have so much respect for all of them. I mean, their work throughout the years, their amazing talent on screen. I've learned so much just from watching their craft. And they're dark-skinned women who unfortunately just have not been recognized enough. It's a tough conversation to have because how can we fix this problem, this issue? How can we come up with solutions to really increase visibility for you, as an Asian deaf woman?
Yeah, and I think it's even more complicated and more challenging for deafblind, trans, LGBTQ, people with many layered intersectional identities.
Oh, yes. I mean, there are multiple layers.
But remember that you and I, we're role models for the younger generation. So don't forget that.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's the reason I write. When I'm writing a piece, I'm very aware. I want to make sure that what I'm writing, the story that I'm conveying is authentic. And I've already made a commitment from the very beginning, from the start, to go ahead and have people of color in my projects, period, showing different experiences, backgrounds, whether that's being trans or whatever it may be, because we need to increase visibility out there.
Yes. And your story is so incredibly important. Like all of us deaf artists, everyone's story is valuable. So viewers who may not be familiar can catch Natasha's work on the limited run performance of Into the Woods by Deaf Broadway on YouTube. It will be wrapping up this week.
This week, the 24th, right? I believe.
It was a short run, just a brief run, but it'll come up again. And I'm assuming, I hope to see you in that project again in the future.
Yes, hopefully.
So tell us about how that process worked out. Because again, this was a virtual production.
Yes, it was such a fun process. And hilarious. We enjoyed it so much. I mean, it was a big commitment and investment to put on a show, right? As if we were on stage. So it was nice to see that we were all really committed to it.
How many rehearsals did you have?
We had 2 rehearsals. Yeah.
Just 2?
That was it. Just 2.
Ooh.
And then we had 1 run. That was
wow,
it.
And so much to visually attend to.
Actually actual recordings 1. Yeah.
So you rehearsed twice, recorded, and then uploaded online. I see. Well, again, that just goes to show, well, I've learned two things from this Deaf Broadway experience. One, great stories should be made accessible.
Yes.
And two, they should feature all signing actors, all of the talent. It bothers me when people out there say there are not enough deaf actors. I'm like, look at this production. They're right here.
So true. Exactly. I mean, we're here. We're not hiding under the rocks. We are here.
You have worked with Deaf West Theater as Eurydice in Orphy by Jean Cocteau. Slated to be shown in LA and Japan, but suspended due to COVID-19. Hopefully it's just a temporary hold.
Fingers crossed. I hope so. We did a preview and an opening night, and that was it. So, I hope that we're able to do it. I'm staying optimistic. We'll see what happens. But I mean, it was such a unique and different play. People really enjoyed it. It was very creative and had so many visual aspects within it.
What was your favorite part of the process of this production?
I don't have one favorite part. I mean, there were several aspects that were my favorite, but one thing about it was one of the most, I would say, calming and positive environments to work in. The cast, the director, the designers, everyone, we all just worked so well together. It literally was like, wait a minute. Are we in the right place?
That's good. Trust.
Because just the whole vibe was amazing. We had such great trust in working with one another, collaborating with the voice actors. I mean, it was just beautiful, such a beautiful process. Whew. And then going through the process of becoming Eurydice and learning who she is and what she's all about and really bringing her out on stage, it was just incredible. So, yes, there were several favorite moments for me.
You've just told us about your journey and the many different paths that you've been on. As an emerging artist in the deaf arts community, how will you know that you've achieved your dreams?
When I break down barriers for BIPOC deaf talent, that's when I'll know.
I'm curious about your experience on The Politician. And feel free to respond to this however you like. But I read an article that said you decided to use your voice and that this shocked your agent who didn't realize you could do that. How did you decide to use your voice for that role?
Okay, well, I don't use my voice every day. I just don't. I don't feel like it's natural for me. It's really exhausting to use my voice, trying to figure out what words I can use, what words I can't. So I typically just always sign. And then one day I just decided, you know what? Why don't I use my voice as a tool for acting? Simply for roles, that's it. Thought about it for a while, really thought about it in-depthly for some time. Decided to contact my agent, and we had a meeting. And my agent had never heard me use my voice before, so she was completely shocked and confused, like, what is going on? And I explained to her, look, I don't really feel confident about it. And she asked me straight up, are you sure you're ready? Which I really appreciate. I thought it was really nice for her to ask that. And I told her I am ready. And so she started submitting me for various roles. And The Politician was the first one. It was the first role where I used my voice, and it just all worked out. That experience being in The Politician definitely was a bit of a shock value for sure, and will stay with me for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I haven't seen it yet, but after this, I'm going to hop on Netflix and check it out.
Yes.
All you out there, go watch The Politician on Netflix. As you know, these days, COVID-19 is impacting everyone, everywhere, especially the arts. Many theaters and performing arts companies are closing their doors, and many have been laid off. How can we support the arts and support deaf artists like you?
I think maybe just simply supporting and advocating for one another, remaining optimistic, encouraging each other, and really pushing each other to do better. Yeah.
You've already told us about the work you did on writing that play. Do you have any other new projects coming up?
I do have another project that will be released in the fall, around September, October, but I can't say anything about it just yet. I'm sorry, but I am so excited. I cannot wait for it to be released. So, patiently waiting.
So, friendly nudge to our viewers out there that you can follow Natasha on Instagram
Yes.
and on her website too.
Yep, exactly, both.
Well, that concludes our interview, but I want to end with some final questions. It's a new thing we do for all of our interviews at Deaf Spotlight. Don't worry, it's short. What's your favorite sign?
Oh, mind blown. That's my favorite sign. Yes, mind blown.
Perfect. Thank you. That will help with the captions. Least favorite sign?
I don't think I really have one. Yeah, no.
That's okay. No problem. That's fine. What's your deaf bing?
Ooh. Okay, yes, my deaf being is, I would say my peripheral vision is off the charts. I could see a pin drop a mile away. It's so annoying because it's so distracting being able to visually catch every slight movement. I have like a 360-degree field of view.
What word or emotion would you like people to remember you by?
I think persistent. And I don't give up.
Well, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so
See
much
you next
for having
time.
me. I really appreciate it.